Today we are going to study another market force that is called supply. Supply is basically showing us the producer behavior in the market. What does it show? It shows the producer behavior in the market. And if you remember, what is the aim of producer to supply the product? What is his name? His aim is to maximize profit. Aim of producer is to maximize his profit, and for that reason he is producing the output. Alright. If you remember, we defined demand like this: desire and ability to buy. And here I am writing the individual supply is desire and ability to produce the goods, the goods and services, you can say, goods and services at various prices, in a given time period. At ceteris paribus. Like we say, ceteris paribus, the two words we are using in every definition, it means human behavior cannot be kept constant. If we are studying without keeping other factors constant, then we cannot have the same producer or consumer behavior. So we keep some of the factors constant in order to analyze the true behavior of consumer and producer. So here in this case we are finding this is the supply, desire and ability to produce the goods and services. If producer is not willing to supply, it cannot be the supply of the product. And ability to produce means he is having enough capital, enough skills in order to produce those goods and services. At every price there is a different supply of the output. Why? When prices are increasing at constant cost of production, what happens? His profit level will be increasing and he is encouraged to supply more output. So at every price, the producer will be supplying a different quantity. When price level is increasing, so his profit level will be increasing because his cost of production is remaining constant. And due to constant cost of production, his profit is growing. Therefore, he is going to supply more output. So, when price is falling, definitely if his cost of production was higher in the previous period and now his profit level is going to decrease, therefore he will be supplying less output. So, at every price there is going to be a different level of output to be supplied in the market. In a given time period, and every time we are having different supply of the product. What do you mean by this? Sometimes weather conditions are favorable, then supply will be more suitable to produce that product. Okay? Sometimes weather is unfavorable, sometimes demand is growing fastly. Therefore, producers they are also going to supply more output. So in every time we can say how much each farm is supplying output in a week. If its demand is growing, then they are supplying more output in the coming week. So it depends upon the changes in the market demand, how much sellers or producers will be supplying in the market. And the ceteris paribus means we are keeping all non-price factors constant which can affect the supply. What are those non-price factors which are kept constant? They are the cost of production, government policy in the form of tax and subsidy, technological changes, weather conditions and prices of other goods. Alright? So we say, in this case we say the supply means the desire and ability to produce the goods and services at various prices in a given time period at ceteris paribus. Now we take what is the law of supply. What is the law of supply? supply. What do you mean by law of supply? Now we have the two variables, they are changing, and all other variables which can affect the supply, they are kept constant. So keeping those non-price factors constant, what are those non-price factors? Non-price factors which are kept constant. One is called cost of production. Second is called tax and subsidy. Third is called technology. Okay. Fourth can be the weather conditions. And fifth can be prices of other goods. Alright. So these are the non-price factors which can affect the supply. And we are keeping these factors constant. We can write over here, these are the ceteris paribus conditions. Ceteris paribus conditions. The law of supply shows that, it shows what? What does it show? It shows it shows the positive relationship between the price and the quantity supplied in a given time period at ceteris paribus. Okay. Now we find that there is a positive relationship. Positive relationship means both price and quantity supplied, they are moving in same direction. How? We see when price increases, it will cause increase in quantity supplied. And I said to you, yes, they are directly proportional. I said to you, when price is increasing, so definitely the profit of the producers, that is going to increase at constant cost of production. So in order to maximize profit, whatever the stock he is having in his warehouse, he will be bringing it into the market in order to maximize his profit. So prices, they are actually increasing the quantity supplied by each seller. So when price level goes down, what happens to the supply? It is also going to decrease. Now same phenomena, like profit of the producer, that is decreasing, therefore he is willing to supply less output in the market. So basically price and quantity supplied, they have positive relationship, or you can say they are moving in the same direction. That's why we have the law of supply which shows us this condition when these factors are kept constant. If they are going to change, there will be change in the supply position as well. Then the supply curve will be shifting either up or down due to the changes in these factors. Alright. But right now we are considering these factors are kept constant. Only two things are variable. One is the price of the product and other is the quantity of the product which is supplied. Now I am going to make the individual supply schedule. One firm, when it is supplying the output, how its schedule can be drawn. Like we take the one thing, here I take the price and here I take the quantity supplied. For single firm, when price is $10, or you can say any currency we are not taking over here, he is supplying 50 units of output. When price moves to 12, he is supplying 60. When price is 14, it is supplying 70. And price 16, there is going to be 80. Or we say at 80, it is going to be 90. Okay, I think they are enough. So we say when price is increasing, quantity supply is also increasing. If we draw them, here now I am taking quantity supply, and here we are taking the price in terms of any currency. In our case, we are taking rupees as a price which is made in terms of rupees. Now, what is happening at price 10? There is going to be 50 supply. So this is the first point we have obtained on our graph. And at price 12, what is the total supply now by the firm? Here it is going to be another point. So when price goes to 40, there can be another point which is called third point. And at price 60, we can find there is going to be 80, which is another point. So these are the dots of these two variables, price and quantity supply. If we join these dots, what we get? If we join these dots, we are getting an upward sloping individual supply curve. This is the supply of one firm. It is an upward sloping. As we said in case of demand was downward sloping. Now it is upward sloping. When any curve, any graph, it is upward sloping, it means its two variables which are taken on axis, they are having positive relationship with each other. Okay? So we say this is the supply curve and this is supply schedule or supply schedule. The supply curve shows the graphical representation between price and quantity supply. What is the supply curve? Zara. That is supply curve. It shows the graphical representation between price and quantity supply. Graphical representation between price and quantity supplied at ceteris paribus. At ceteris paribus. Alright. So we say the supply curve shows it is upward sloping. Upward sloping means both price and quantity supplied, they are moving in same direction. Now come towards another point which we say, what is the market supply now? What is the market supply? Market supply means, do you think there is a single producer of this product? We are having so many producers. So if we multiply this output by the number of producers in the market or number of sellers in the market, we will get what? The market supply curve. Suppose there are going to be, you can say 10 sellers at every price. So what happens? If we multiply them, we will be getting the market supply in the market at every price. Now can I say the market supply is the horizontal sum of the individual supplies of all the producers in the market at each price. Market supply means it is a horizontal sum of the individual supplies of every seller at each price. So when we add them up, we get on the right side of the individual supply curve, that is called the market supply. This is individual supply. If one individual, he was supplying 70 units at price 14, but market supply can be 700 because there are 10 suppliers in the market. How many suppliers are there? 10 suppliers. So horizontally, when we add the output of every seller at each price, so we get the market supply. Basically, we are studying the market supply, not the individual supply. What it is? It is the market supply which is horizontal sum of the individual supply curves at each price. Alright. It is also upward sloping. If we draw now the market supply curve, this is what market supply curve, which is upward sloping. Now I want to tell you what is meant by the movement along the supply curve. Movement means how quantity supplied will be changing due to the changes in the price of the product. See over here, when this is the price 14, we said there is 700 units which are supplied. So at price 16, what is happening? 800 units are supplied. Okay? So see over here, now quantity supplied will be moving along the curve due to increase in the price of the product. It is called expansion of supply. What it is? Expansion of supply. Expansion of supply due to increase in price. Movement, there will be no shift of the supply curve due to the changes in the price of the product. Supply curve will never shift due to the change in the price of the product. There will be only the movement along the curve. Okay? When price increases, we say this is called expansion of supply, and when price decreases, what happens? It is called contraction of supply. Contraction means supply will decrease as price is falling. Okay. Now I am writing over here. This is the market supply. You can say 500, 600, 700 and 800 and 900. This is the market supply. Now come towards the another point. Here we say when price goes down from 18, at 18 we were having 900 units to be supplied, but now the price is 14, we say this is 700. Now quantity supply will contract. This is called what? Contraction of supply. Along the curve, again, some of the students they make this mistake in their final exam. Due to the change in price, they cause a shift in the supply. Either there is demand or supply. Whenever price changes, there will be no shift of any of the market force. There will be movement because this is the graph of these two variables. If any one of them is changing, another will also be changing. So this is called movement along the curve. There is no shift of the change in price of the product. Only we find either there is going to be expansion of supply due to increase in price, or there can be a contraction of supply due to the change in the price of the product. But keep it in mind, there will be no shift. Now if we say these factors are going to change, like cost of production has changed, technological advancements they have taken place, government has imposed a tax or government has decreased the tax in the form of subsidy, or weather has become favorable, then we say supply can either shift rightward or leftward. Because these are called non-price factors. And this is the price of the product which is causing a movement along the supply. And due to non-price factors, there can be the shift of the curve. For supply reasons, these are the non-price factors. For demand reason, we had studied different non-price factors or the shift factors. So here I am not writing income. Whenever you sit in the exam and there is one factor which is given to you, like it says government has decreased income tax on the people, so how will it affect the market of computers? The students are doing what? They are shifting the supply curve due to the change in income tax. This is not the case. Income tax will affect the demand. Okay? So we have to keep it in mind which factor will cause a demand shift or supply shift. Some of the students, when we write the supply factors, this is our usual practice that we study more of the demand curve rather than supply. So when we talk about the shift factors of supply, they are also mixing the demand factors into the supply, and then they make the whole concept the mixture of the shifts of demand and supply. They don't understand whether this will cause a shift in demand or shift in supply. So keep it in mind, these factors are the supply factors. They can cause a shift in supply. One thing is common, that is the weather condition. It is both present in case of demand and supply. Weather is affecting both demand and supply. But here I am not writing any other factor like income, like taste, like substitutes. Substitutes can come over here. Okay, the prices of the competitors, who are they going to affect our supply? Okay, so we will be studying inshallah about our shift factors of the supply curve by tomorrow, and I will be trying to start market equilibrium by tomorrow inshallah. So keep it in touch with this concept and come prepared. Both demand and supply topics you have to come prepared by tomorrow, then you will be able to understand the basic phenomena, how equilibrium will be established in the market. We have analyzed demand and supply into separate diagrams, then we will be bringing them into single diagram to see how market works. Okay, so come prepared tomorrow. Thank you.